We had Dr. Fauci come out, and now he said that an NFL season could be potentially, he believes it should be potentially in jeopardy, that if a bubble mentality is not adopted and some protocols isn't implemented to sort of create a bubble, similar to what the NBA is scheduled to do in Orlando later on this summer, that it would be tough to have an NFL season. I know y'all are aware of that. What is y'all mentality about that? Could there be a bubble kind of atmosphere with NFL teams? Do you foresee something like that happening? What do you anticipate?
Yeah, I can see something like that happening. The world is missing live sports, and the NBA is going to continue, which I think would be great for people to see. Man, sports brings people together, and however it needs to be played is how it's going to be played. Man, I love the game of football. And I'll be willing to do the whole bubble thing, man. I don't want to let me not say that I don't love the fans. I love the fans. Without the fans, we're not us. So I love having the fans. And I would really love to have the fans at the games. But if we have to continue with a season in the bubble, I'm all for it. I can potentially see that happening. And if it does happen, hey, we'll move forward accordingly.
Today is Juneteenth, Gerald, and you are among those who've advocated for this to be a national federal holiday. Can you tell us your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people don't understand what Juneteenth is. So quick background, a lot of people believe that the slaves were freed with the Emancipation Proclamation started in 1862 and official in 1863. But it wasn't until 1865 that all of Texas didn't even realize that they were free. So in 1865, Texas found out that they were free, which was where we were officially all free. And I feel like until everybody's free, it doesn't matter, and we didn't get our freedom until 1865. So I believe it needs to be celebrated. Independence Day dates back to 1776. And John Adams wrote a letter to his wife saying how it should be celebrated and it's going to be pomp and circumstance and it should be these big celebrations and parades and all these different things. Well, who is that for? Who was that for? So if you believe it could be celebrated then when everybody wasn't free, now that everybody is free, why shouldn't it be celebrated the same way? It should be celebrated nationally. And the problem with it not being national, some people know, but when something's celebrated nationally, it opens up people's minds to want to figure out, what is this? Why are we celebrating this nationally? We talk about Black History Month. Juneteenth is not even mentioned when we're studying Black history. And to be honest, the curriculum in schools now don't even really study Black history anymore. They just say, hey, this is Black History Month. And then we circulate the same. If we do bring up Black history in schools, it's the same thing, which are all great people. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and we circulate and circulate and circulate. How do you talk about Black history without mentioning Juneteenth? And that's why I think this should be a national holiday that everybody celebrates, because it's only right.
Gerald, I want to stay right there with you because you are an Oklahoma native. You started at the University of Oklahoma, okay? I want to get your comments about two brothers in particular, and they're not the only ones, but especially these two. LeBron James, who's put forth an effort to get out the vote, voter participation, voter registration, things of that nature, and Juneteenth, obviously today, is a day that he's really spearheading that movement. And then you've got him along with Russell Westbrook and others who are putting together their own separate documentary series, from my understanding, about the Tulsa riots, Black Wall Street, 1921, when Black affluence was basically eradicated from us because a white mob came through and destroyed their town, killed almost nearly 300 people died, and 32 million plus in damages were put forth. When you hear and see these brothers doing this kind of thing, particularly at this moment in time, express what your thoughts are about what LeBron James is doing, what Russell Westbrook is doing.
Well, first I want to tell those guys, thank you so much for what you're doing and using your platform. We all have different levels of a platform, but we all have platforms. And the level of platform that those two gentlemen have, they're using. And I believe a lot of people, once again, when we talk about Black history, a lot of people don't even know what Black Wall Street is, and it needs to be spoke about. And I love that LeBron is pushing to get our Black voters out there so our voice can be heard. We can't complain from the background. We have an opportunity to have a voice, and it's voting. So I love that LeBron is pushing to make sure we're protected with how we vote. I love that Westbrook is pushing to get this movie or this documentary out about Black Wall Street so we can really learn our history. You know, it's a tragedy that what happened with George Floyd, but it's a blessing in disguise because now people's eyes are being opened to our history and what's really going on, and a lot of things are being pushed. And I just want to say, from me, thank you to those two brothers for what they're doing.
Gerald, we want to say thank you to you not only for your time today, but also to help raise awareness about Juneteenth. So thank you very much.
And the last thing, I know we got to go, but the last thing, today is Juneteenth, where I'm doing a walk that's 2.5 miles to commemorate the 2.5 years that the slaves in Texas did not know that they were free. There's a sweet lady in Texas named Miss Opal Lee. When she was 86 years old, she walked from Texas to Washington, D.C. to raise awareness about Juneteenth being a national holiday at the age of 86. So the least we can do right now is go out and join her and walk 2.5 miles today to commemorate Juneteenth and push to make this thing a national holiday. Everybody go live on all your social medias, and I want to see you out there. 2.5 miles, let's go.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.